There's a silent game being played right now, a game older than war, yet far more powerful than any weapon. It's not fought with armies or missiles, it's fought with numbers, patience, and silence. And today, the United States, the richest and most powerful nation in history, has walked straight into China's hidden trap, a trap not made of steel, but of debt. For decades, America believed it ruled the world because it controlled money. The dollar became a symbol of dominance, a language every nation was forced to speak. But power built only on belief is fragile. And once that belief begins to crack, it spreads like a fracture through glass. China understood this long before the rest of the world ever noticed. Jack Ma once said, "You don't fight a giant with strength, you fight with strategy." That single idea became the backbone of China's rise. While the West fought wars in deserts and boardrooms, China fought in silence through contracts, trade routes, and time. And now that silence is paying off. It began quietly in the early 2000s. America was unstoppable, proud, printing money like it would never run out. The world bought the American dream, and America bought Chinese goods. Every product stamped "Made in China" carried a message. The future is shifting, but no one paid attention. Each container leaving Shanghai carried something deeper than goods. It carried the seeds of dependency. America didn't pay in gold, it paid in promises, treasury bonds. And China accepted those promises with a quiet smile. Every bond was a soft chain, invisible at first, but powerful over time. America thought it was buying comfort. China knew it was buying control. Jack Ma once said, "When people think they're earning, but they're actually borrowing, that's when the fall begins." And that's exactly what happened. The US wasn't earning. It was borrowing from its own future. And China was patiently watching. The difference between the two is mindset. In the West, success means speed. In the East, success means survival. America wanted instant results, fast profits, quarterly reports. China wanted permanence, roots that would last for generations. So while the US raced to become richer, China worked to become stronger. The Belt and Road Initiative wasn't just about building roads and ports. It was about building influence, connecting over 60 nations with invisible threads of finance. Every project China funded wasn't just an investment, it was a vote for the future. And while the world accused China of trapping poor nations in debt, the real trap was quietly closing around the United States itself. Today, the US debt stands at over $35 trillion, a number so big it's lost meaning. But China knows numbers like these don't destroy nations overnight, they drain them slowly. When you owe someone money, they own your attention. And when a nation owes another nation trillions, that attention turns into obedience. If you owe me $100, it's your problem. If you owe me $1 trillion, it's my power. That's the new rule of modern war. China doesn't need to invade. It only needs to invest. Jack Ma once said something that now feels prophetic. When the storm comes, some build walls, others build windmills. While America built walls, tariffs, trade wars, China built windmills, partnerships, technology, and trust. America's loudness was its pride. China's silence was its strategy. Because real power doesn't shout, it simply endures. Then came the pandemic of 2020, the great test. While the world shut down, America printed trillions to stay afloat. But every dollar printed made the dollar weaker. China watched as inflation grew and global trust in the dollar began to fade. For the first time in modern history, countries began asking the forbidden question, why must trade only be done in dollars? That one question was the sound of a global shift beginning. Because once people questioned the dollar, they questioned America's dominance. China didn't push that idea, it simply waited. Patience has always been its sharpest weapon. Jack Ma once told his students, the real war of the future is not technology versus technology, it's philosophy versus philosophy. America's philosophy is consumption. China's philosophy is contribution. America sells dreams. China sells discipline. America exports culture. China exports control. And in the long run, control always outlasts culture. When America printed paper, China built pipelines. When America built apps, China built alliances. And now those alliances are turning into leverage. The yuan, once seen as secondary, is now being accepted in international trade. China's digital currency is quietly replacing the dollar in parts of Asia and Africa. No explosions, no headlines, just quiet redirection, deal by deal, trust by trust. Because power isn't what people say, it's what people believe. And slowly, the world is beginning to believe in China's patience more than America's promises. Jack Ma said, "Never waste a good crisis," and China never did. From the 2008 financial crash to the 2020 pandemic, every global shock became a classroom. They studied how the West reacted with panic, politics, and printing, and learned what not to do. While America borrowed more to survive, China built more to adapt. That's not luck, that's philosophy. Debt isn't evil, but ignorance of debt is. When you forget that every loan is a leash, you lose your ability to walk freely, and now America walks with that leash, tied not by China's hands, but by its own addiction to spending. Jack Ma defined power as the ability to stay calm when everyone else panics. That's why China wins quietly, because calm is their currency. Every time the West overreacted, China made a calculated move. Every time the West shouted, China whispered. And whispers repeated long enough become the language of influence. This is how the US fell into the debt trap. Not through force, through fatigue, not through defeat, through distraction. China didn't conquer, America complied. But this story isn't just about nations, it's a mirror for you and me. Because every one of us lives in some kind of debt. Maybe not financial, but emotional, mental, or moral. We borrow time, we borrow happiness, we borrow validation. We chase comfort like America chased control. And just like America, we forget that borrowed comfort always comes with interest. Jack Ma's message was never just political, it was deeply personal. He once said, "You cannot outsource responsibility and expect respect." And that's what happened to the US. It outsourced its production, its discipline, its patience, and became a consumer of its own illusion. In the East, time is a teacher. In the West, time is a threat. That's the difference. When you fear time, you rush. When you respect time, you grow. China respected time, and time rewarded it. America wanted results. China wanted rhythm. And now that rhythm echoes across every trade route, every port, every quiet handshake. The future won't be decided by who's richer, but by who's wiser. Because when the storm hits, money won't save you, discipline will. Jack Ma once warned, the biggest mistake a leader can make is believing that yesterday's success will protect them from tomorrow's change. America is learning that the hard way. Success made it blind, change made it slow, and now the system it built is being used against it. But this isn't a story of defeat. It's a reminder. Arrogance is temporary. Patience is eternal. China was once the student, now it's the strategist. America was once the innovator, now it's the imitator. That's how the cycle of power always turns. Silence replaces noise, humility replaces pride. Money that moves fast creates excitement. Money that moves slow creates empires. That's the difference between spending and strategy. So ask yourself, which one are you living by? Are you chasing speed or building strength? Trying to dominate or learning to endure? Because the rules of nations are the same as the rules of life. When you build fast, you borrow from the future. When you build slow, you own it. Jack Ma didn't become who he is by luck. He understood the rhythm of patience, the quiet power of what others overlook. That's what China did. It didn't win by being louder. It won by being quieter. Today, America may still have the loudest voice, but China has the deepest influence because you don't need to shout when time speaks for you. The US built castles of dollars. China built foundations of discipline. And when the storm comes, castles fall. Foundations remain. Jack Ma once said, "Control the game that others don't even see." And China saw the game of debt long before America realized it was being played. Now, the US is running to catch up to a future China has already built. But again, this isn't about them. It's about you. Because every person watching this has a debt trap of their own. Maybe you're trapped by comfort, fear, laziness, or the need to impress others. And every day you delay facing it, the chain grows tighter. The only way out is discipline. The same discipline that built China's rise can rebuild your life. It's not about money. It's about mindset. Those who learn to wait, to work, to think long term, they always win. Those who chase shortcuts, they always fall. America fell not because it was weak, but because it became comfortable. China rose not because it was lucky, but because it was patient. And the same law applies to you. Comfort makes you forget hunger. Patience makes you unstoppable. Power never disappears. It only changes hands. From the impatient to the patient, from the loud to the silent, from the spender to the saver. So ask yourself, which side of history are you on? Are you America, loud, proud, and drowning in debt? Or China, calm, focused, and quietly building control? Because in the end, this war isn't about dollars or yuan. It's about mindset versus mindset. And in that war, one truth remains. Those who wait for the future wisely will own it completely. If you love this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to get daily motivation video.